Love is the spirit of this church. In this church, you are welcome, just as you are. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Side with love. We are building beloved community. If you've hung around this church or Unitarian Universalism long enough, these are the words that get printed on our banners, that are staked to our front lawns or hung on the walls in some congregations or held up at marches or at vigils. They are spoken in our in unison faith affirmations. Many of our hymns and our favorite UU readings, stories for young people, along with mountains of curriculum for all ages, are all about these hopes for care and love and acceptance and welcome. For many of us, they are why we are here. They align with our beliefs and our values, and they are our moral compass. We take them seriously. For others, they offer an invitation to a potential safe space. Those of you who have to be careful about the thresholds you cross, or the thresholds you bring your children or your grandchildren across, particularly religious thresholds. You look for words like these so that you don't just feel welcomed, but literally safe. And all of these words, banners and flags, all of these are wonderful and treasured mantras of our Unitarian Universalist faith and of this church. Beautiful. But do we really get what they are asking of us? Do we really get what they are asking of us? The hard truth is this: they don't mean a thing if we aren't living them. They don't mean a thing if we are not living them. Doing welcome is not the same as being welcome. I am much better at doing welcome than being welcome. I'm better at it because it takes very little effort for me to look out at you and say, you are welcome here. And trust me, I mean it. But it's a lot easier to say it than it is to live it. Living it is an inside job. And that's what makes it exponentially harder. Because the first required step is really getting how people feel unwelcome. And I know we've had a lot of conversations about this these last few years. And the part I play in that, how I unintentionally perpetuate it or just don't notice it, that's the inside job that's required that I often bypass. This not having to notice it is an unearned, inherited privilege that I live with. And I'm going to talk about what that means now. This privilege of not noticing. I have to pointedly focus with intention and attention on what it might, because I will never fully understand, what it might feel like to not be fully welcomed somewhere. Or what life would feel like in a world that tells you everywhere you go that you don't fit. The fact that I have to actively Try that on and imagine it as privilege. Do you get that? It's not that I have never been excluded, friends. It's not that I have never been harmed or ill at ease in my body, underrepresented or unrepresented completely, or even discriminated against. I am a woman after all. And, again, by no choice or fault of my own, I also hold a variety of identities that offer me easy, breezy access to most places and groupings. It is not difficult for me to cultivate a feeling of belonging most anywhere, and this isn't just because I have a good personality, which there are even some who say, no, you don't have a good personality, because that's life. But that ain't it. It comes with the package that our culture calls the norm, or socially acceptable or desirable. So apart from being a woman, practically every other identity of mine fits into culturally desirable social qualifiers. I am able-minded and able-bodied. I am white. I am of average weight. I am highly educated. I am financially stable, as is my family. I don't speak with any discernible dialects or accents. I am straight. I am married to a man. And I am cisgendered, meaning the gender I was assigned at birth, female, matches how I identify and who I am perceived to be. My pronouns, she, her, hers, don't ruffle any feathers. I don't get any looks. Nor does my gender identity make it hard, if not impossible, to use the bathroom when I need to. All of this and more, makes access and belonging easy. Or at least something I don't have to think about much. And I invite you to take part in this exercise if you have never done it. All the things, list them out about your identity that makes life and belonging all that much easier. For a long time, I did not get this. And I definitely didn't get that this made me someone who said welcome, but who didn't know how to fully live it. I didn't get that. Alex Capitan was one of many who have taught me about this, opened my mind and heart about this. Alex is one of our faith's most celebrated young transgender queer activists and spiritual teachers, and has companioned countless congregations through the process of becoming welcoming congregations and upholding those certifications. And this is what we are here at First Parish. Your certification through our larger association, the UUA, came in 2002, right? And let me tell you, it's neither easy to receive nor uphold. And your welcoming congregation committee can tell you that. They don't make it easy, nor should they. You got to do some things. And you've got this passionate group of leaders who help us with these things every year. And I hope if this ministry speaks to you in any way, you will join them. These are Alex's words. I want to let you in on a little secret. When congregations first go through a welcoming congregation program, they often focus on those people out there. They talk about welcome as if it's something we need to do for them. But here's the secret, Alex says. Being a welcoming congregation isn't about them, it's about us. It's about what our definition of us is. Hear that. It's about what our definition of us is. And it's about what we are willing to do to expand that definition. Alex goes on to say that every community has unspoken answers to questions like, how old are we? Where did we grow up? How much education have we had? What sort of jobs do we work? What race are we? How much money do we have? How able are our bodies and minds? How did we vote? What do we think about God? And hundreds more. And Alex says that every community has a definition of us and we that dictate the boundaries of the circle of belonging. Somewhere there's a line that unintentionally gets drawn, and we are inside of it. They are not. And what happens, Alex so beautifully articulates, is that we communicate our definition of us in 1,000 conscious and unconscious ways. This is what happens. We just assume everyone has more or less the same lived experience as us. I do that. And this informs how we structure ourselves. Who's at the table and who isn't? How do we run meetings and make decisions about what's most important? What our building looks and feels like? Oh, that's a hot topic around here. How we present the history, another hot one. How we do fellowship together, how we do and define justice work together, how we worship together, and on and on. Unintentionally, I'm going to use that word a lot. Unintentionally, this assumption of most everyone having more or less the same lived experience as us serves as a wall that keeps us in and them out. Unintentionally. But I can guarantee you, it's why our UU churches from coast to coast look a certain way. Belonging, for many of us, can often get misconstrued as a place where everyone thinks alike. We have even proclaimed like-mindedness to be one of our precursors to joining a UU church. I found my people, I used to say. I found my people, people like me. Yeah. In most communities around the world, from faith organizations to academia to nonprofits to massive corporations, these conscious and unconscious definitions of ourselves dictate the boundaries of belonging. If you like what we do and how we think, then you probably belong. If you like what we do and how we think, then you probably belong. What are we willing to do to expand these definitions? Alex asks us. Today, on Transgender Remembrance Day, where our month's theme is generosity, is simply an invitation to consider the walls that aren't just out there in some nebulous, scary place in the world, erected by Hades himself. I don't mean to point at you, Mark. You're not Hades now. No. Those people have built them. No. But here, in us, not so that we head our heads in shame, that does no one any good, but so that we become more fully whole and healed, for we are shattered. I do my best to be awake to this as deeply as I can. I do my best. It's all I can do. And part of this, my best, honestly, is a commitment to keeping my spiritual muscles strong. This is key here. Learning to bear the beams of love, for that is what this is. Those are William Blake's words. Learning to bear the beams of love. Being and living welcome, taking down the walls inside us with all our heart and soul so that we might be whole, as our choir just sang to us. It means failure. It just does. And it's messy. And we got to look at hard truths. And we got to let our hearts break. And our hearts change, which, as you know, always comes with heartbreak. We need strong spiritual muscles to keep us resilient and open and loving, lest we become defensive and complacent and brittle in spirit. But friends, this is not a gloomy affair. We call this liberation work for a reason. When we try for breaking down the walls that keep people outside of our circle of belonging, opening our minds and doors to a variety of lived human experience, the things we want most for ourselves and this community and faith, love, care, welcome, belonging, joy, connection, they aren't going to fall away, they're going to fall into place. When we courageously say yes to the breaking down, we break through. We aren't losing anything, my friends. We are gaining everything. Please believe me when I tell you that. Alex Capitan says that all of this, yes, it's a tall, tall order. And it's not easy or comfortable. But if we are trying to heal our world as Unitarian Universalists, then it is necessary. As we prayed earlier, this coming week is going to hold a lot for a lot of different people. There is a multiplicity of experience and need and expression in our midst. Be open to it. Welcome it in. Inch out your circle of perspective a bit wider. Consider your boundaries of belonging and the assumptions you make by virtue of them. How did you come by them? How can you expand them? Keep at it. You might have noticed that in each of your orders of service is one of the names that Jean read earlier. And I've also placed them on our altar here, on their transgender flag. Look them up. Come to know a bit about them. Place them on your dinner tables or your Thanksgiving table if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Call them in from the margins, as our invocation called us to. Call them in from the margins and put them at the center of your table. Do this as an embodied expression of boundary stretching and living welcome. These are people who you will never truly know and never truly understand, but whose experience and life, pain and hope have so much to teach us. Their lives and deaths offer the possibility of transforming and stretching your boundaries of belonging. So take that as an invitation. If you can be open to this, you will do them the greatest of honor. I sense that you will also heal something deep inside yourself that needs healing for building a beloved community of wondrous love. That's what we're all in this for. That's what we all shout amen over. It does save lives, not just theirs, yours, mine. And so let's close by returning to the words that our choir just sang us. It is our reading today. Can you hear us saying, shouting, praying, rise up together when the heart calls, take down, break down, take down these walls? We will never stand to be divided. We will never spread the word of hate and fear, always taking care of one another. Wondrous love is here. Take down these walls that divide us. Take down these walls so deep inside us. With all your heart and soul, reach out and make us whole. May it be so, and amen.